when you pull up to a yard, you don't want to park right out too close to the grass because you're going to have to fertilize it with a spreader. And when you take the spreader off the truck, you got to be real easy. You can't let it fly down and bounce because you'll break the shear pins on the axle. Remember to fill the fertilizer on the street, not over the grass. You start off by working your way to the backyard by shielding down the side yard, right down the property line.
Hold on, man.
There's things in your way, you're going to have to move them if it's possible. You shield down the shrub beds, you shield everything in, and here I come up on tree stakes. If I were just to go around them, there would be faded little areas where you see I went around them. So you notice how I went right up to it and stopped and then started again around it. That way I get fertilizer across it and it doesn't leave little teardrops of faded grass that doesn't green up from not getting fertilizer. Shielding down across the back here. There's only about 3-4 foot of St. Augustine from that bed. Now I've worked myself back to that same side yard I started on. Shield down the shrub beds, coming back up this side yard. Now this side's kind of a wedge. It's not rectangle. It comes to a point. You have to make sure your fertilizer is spread evenly. Now I haven't started to open the spreader yet, open the hopper, until I get a little wider spot. About here I open it, because this is like a wedge, so I'm applying fertilizer again up the middle here. I kind of do part of the back with the side here. Kind of have to box everything in. Make a partial pass back just to make sure I got everything. Now the side yard's done and a lot of the trim end's done. Now I'm going to go to the backyard and do the middle of the backyard. I've already moved that again. Kind of going up the middle here. I shield down the shrub beds on each side. Make a pass up the middle here. You got to watch where your fertilizer lands so you know how far you're fertilizing. As I go back here, I get close to the shrub bed, I put my side shield down. And I get up close to the porch here and I stop. Make a straight line right across the back here. Try not to throw too much into their porch. And I follow that shrub bed right on around to where I'd started before, which is about there. Can't forget areas. You have to remember all the areas that you've already done. You don't want to do any areas twice or miss any areas. It'll show up. Now I'm on the other side of the house and I'm shielding down, working my way toward the front along the property line. I tipped the spreader like that because as my fertilizer got low, one of the holes started not to allow fertilizer through it. You can do that with this spreader. Just enough to get up to this point. When I got to this point, I was close to the truck. I put some more fertilizer in it, and I'm starting again. Now I'm shielding down that bed, but notice I lift the shield and I'm bouncing it off the wall. There's no bed there. If you shield down there, you're not going to get right to the edge. So I lift the shield along a concrete wall, back with the shield down, because there's a bed there. When I get here, I'm going to lift that shield and let it bounce off that wall. That way it goes all the way across. Got a bed here, shield back down. Right to where I had started before, which was right there. I stopped. Now I got to fill in the middle of this. Also, it's a wedge here. See, I'm going to go along here. My fertilizer is going to land on the line where I shielded down just a minute ago. And I'm going to go up the middle here. Obviously, it's wider on one end, so I have to go back down that end and put a little bit more to finish it. Now I'm walking back to the front yard.
That front strip that you're out there.
Some of these smaller areas you'll have to slow down. Don't be afraid to reduce the amount of fertilizer coming out of your hopper by adjusting the, knob that allows so much to flow. And reduce that. If you're going to go slower, you're putting more out. Now half that shield was our customer, so I just made a straight line across it. Now I'm going to go up this along the driveway here. A little bit along the sidewalk here. There's those narrow strips of grass along that concrete. It's not fertilized, it will show up. And then a little side shield down along the driveway here. And don't get close to somebody's vehicle. You're comfortable and you can get close and you know what you're doing, but don't hit somebody's vehicle. I'd rather you miss a gap. Now I'm back to the front yard. This is where you finish up. Do the front yard last. Now you can make one pass on a strip, or you can reduce the amount of fertilizer coming out and make two passes. I reduced the amount of fertilizer coming out and did the pass on both sides and controlled how far my fertilizer went. Now I opened the hopper back up to where I was going in the rest of the yard, and I'm doing the front yard, and then I'm done after the front yard. Shield down along the sidewalk, and then this is the customer's property line, so I'm going to shield down right along their property line, and of course shield down along the bed here. And then the tricky part is when you come up on somebody's vehicle. You got to stay away from the vehicle, but yet still try to get the grass fertilized. Don't get close and scratch somebody's vehicle. Now that I got this front yard boxed in, it's kind of a weird shape. I'll make a couple passes in the middle with the side shield up, the third hole open to fill in that front yard. Pretty much does it for that yard. When you go to drive your spreader back into the carrier or onto the truck, help push it up a little bit and lift the back wheel a little bit. It's gonna have a hard time climbing that, especially if it's wet.
One of the things when you're blowing off, you got to make sure you do is you got to blow off the neighbor's driveway. You know, when these houses are this close together, I fertilized this strip here. Good chance there's some fertilizer in the neighbor's driveway, so we'll blow off that half of the neighbor's driveway just to be on the safe side.
Walk far enough out that you get past where your fertilizer pellets might be and blow them into toward the grass. Now I'm on the neighbor's driveway just in case I got any over there. And then I blow it down the sidewalk toward your customer's property. And then before I blow it onto their driveway, I turn and blow it into the grass. Start again in the middle of the driveway. Be very careful around people's vehicles. Set the blower down and get any fertilizer underneath those vehicles. sidewalk, there's still some on there. I blow it into the edging line. Sometimes you run the RPMs a little slower on the blower. It makes it a little easier to control where that stuff's going. Always go up to somebody's front door, even if there's not fertilizer up there. Blow any debris out and into the grass. Just kind of clean up there. This half the driveway hasn't been blown off. Through the gutter. All the concrete pads that you find on somebody's property have to be blown off.
Now we gotta take a walk around the house. Got a concrete pad or a porch in the back that needs to be blown off. Pause now. You got concrete pads like this. This one here has got a shrub bed protecting it. This concrete pad here, don't forget to blow it off. You can stay in it. I'll blow it off because I'm walking by it, but I'm heading to the back porch. There's fertilizer on it. Even though I shielded down all the way out here, there's still fertilizer there. It needs to be blown off. I think we're
Now
done.
put your lawn signs out. They need to be uniform in the same spot at each house. They need to be stuck in the ground far enough that an hour later when the wind blows, they're not all lean in different direction, giving the perception that you did you were in a hurry or you didn't do a good job.
That's the money shot right here.